Hi Libra, this is Awaken Spirit Wisdom. In this reading we will be exploring what shadow energies you are currently transmuting personally and collectively, which you may or may not be aware of. Excuse me. Sorry. So I'll be pulling a blind spot card. This has a activation symbol on it, which is healing, but also helps you to bring whatever this is for you into your conscious awareness. I will then be pulling a crystal card and an angel card to support you through your process, and then we'll look at the outcome and any additional information. The purpose of this reading is to bring forward and transform whatever it is that you're working through at the root cause. So take what resonates with you. You may find that after a few days, if it doesn't initially stick with you, it may unfold. So just bear that in mind. And this reading is not time specific. So I trust if you are drawn to this reading, a deeper part of your soul is ready to move you through this energy and transform it. Okay, so I'm going to start the reading. You pull out all the cards and then do the reading from there. So if you want to fast forward, feel free to do so. So Spirit, what energy is Libra currently working through and transmuting personally and collectively? Nearly came out, but that one is coming out for sure. So I'm only going to take one card because I will be reading from the book. So I'm going to go with that one, and the rest will go back where they belong. Okay. And what crystal is going to support Libra through this process? And the Archangel that will help you for Libra. And the outcome or any additional information you need to help you through this transmuting of energy. So, angels, please bring us information to help Libra, and let us know the final outcome if you choose to move through this energy consciously. Wow, okay. They're all flying out. I'm not going to take those because there are quite a few. So, I don't think we're going to need all these cards, so in fact I'm going to shuffle that again because that just feels disjointed. For some reason. So some of you may be feeling a bit disjointed at the moment. Hopefully this will bring you some clarity. They really are just flying out. So there may be some additional information that you need to find out for yourself. I don't know where that's come from, but that's come out of my mouth. Okay. Okay, Libra. Just trying to get all of these on the screen. Right, so I'm going to read from the book. You've got number 76. And the energy you are working through is deflection. So I'm going to hold the card up while I read, and then the idea is to just look at the symbol, and it will help to activate the healing as well as whatever it is you need to know into your consciousness. Okay. If you have drawn this card, you are currently using deflection as a tool to avoid self-awareness in a situation where you really do not recognize something within yourself. Deflection, to deflect something, is to cause that thing to change direction by interposing something. This turns it off its straight course and into another direction, even back to the original direction it came from. Deflection is when someone communicates to another causes that person to feel triggered. As a result, instead of taking in the perceived criticism, they ignore, deny, or turn away from it. Sorry, it's cutting into my finger. For some reason I'm holding it in the wrong place. Okay. Where was I? Deny or turn away from it. Or worse, they turn it back towards the person who communicated it in the first place. This is done to avoid painful memories, emotions, and thoughts, but it also prevents the person deflecting the comment from being self-aware. Deflection is different from projection, which is when a person cannot accept a quality or aspect of their own personality because it is incompatible with their self-concept. So they project it out of their awareness and onto another person. It is the angry person recognizing anger with anger in others, but thinking they are peaceful, for example. However, once people learn about projection, it can be taken further to become a common deflection technique. For example, in order to deflect something that someone tells you about yourself which triggers you, simply tell them they are projecting. Deflection is a defense mechanism that is designed to preserve self-concept. It is a form of projection when it is used to deflect blame. Essentially, when the fault is with us, we project the blame and fault onto someone else. We feel we cannot take responsibility or blame for something and feel positive about ourselves at the same time. We are unwilling to feel guilt or shame. To give you some examples of deflection, a child may spill something and blame it on the cup. An abusive husband may blame his wife for provoking him by not having dinner ready on time despite what she promised. A spouse may do abusive things, and when their partner gets angry, say that they are in an abusive relationship because the other person's anger, or because they are being told what they did was wrong. If you have drawn this card, you are currently deflecting in this scenario. Recognize the shame and guilt that you feel. We deflect to save our self-concept. In order to awaken, we have to be able to see both sides of ourselves, both our darkness and our light. This means in order to stop deflecting, we have to be willing to feel and see ourselves as not a good person in the circumstance we are in. If we are not willing to see ourselves in this light, we will continue to avoid self-awareness by only seeing what we want to see in others, in ourselves. Therefore, we will not be in reality. Our only access of power is in reality, so we will not be able to make any positive change to the scenario we are in. If you have drawn this card, let it help you to reflect. The opposite of deflection is reflection. Hopefully you can reflect and accept the perspective that you are not the good guy in the situation. But if you can't, for the sake of other people around you, you can go through the back door of this pattern by feeding your positive self-concept and accepting your negative aspects. Just decide that the person who is the best person is the one who really owns their badness. When you feel the tension of defense in any given situation, use the power of your own ego's desire to see you as a good person. And a good person owns their flaws, to look for what you did wrong or what you did to hurt the other person. So Libra, I think Cancer got the same card. So if you have any Cancer rising or moon in Cancer, or you have a lot of Cancer in your chart, you might want to have a look at that reading as well. Theirs was quite connected to being triggered, so we'll just see what Spirit is bringing forward for you in terms of deflection. So for you, Libra, I feel, and this isn't your fault, it's just how it is, because you are coming up in your own energy. So I feel that with Libra, you see yourselves as being a peacemaker, you care for everybody else, you do your best to help support everybody else, and sometimes, although you're trying to help others and save them, or save them from themselves or whatever it is, it can actually bring them more harm than good, even though your intention is good. So what happens is when you try to help somebody who hasn't asked for your help, you take away their lessons, and it makes the challenge that they're in even more difficult. So it takes them longer to learn their lessons, and it makes it even harder than it was before you kind of stepped in to help them. Now it is obviously different for those of you who are helping others who want help and who have asked for help. So you need to discern where you kind of overstepping your helpfulness, even though it's coming from a good place and good intention. It isn't necessarily what they're ready for, or isn't necessarily helpful to them individually. So they have their own process to find their own lesson. So although what you went through and this is how it worked for me and this is how it's going to work for you isn't necessarily the right thing for them, because they may have a totally different way of coming to the same conclusion, but in they may be going around a totally different direction to get to that point, and they need to go through that process in order for them to know the outcome as true for themselves and their own experience. I hope that makes sense. So instead of looking at yourself as the bad person, just recognize that sometimes, we may want to help others, and even with the best intentions in the world, it doesn't necessarily mean you're a bad person. It just means that you need to look at what it is you're doing that maybe isn't really benefiting others and maybe hurting them, and then you may be coming around to going, well, I don't understand, I was helping you, and why are you so pissed off at me? That may give you an indication that something that you've done, they either weren't ready for, or it wasn't right for them, even though your intention was good. So I feel what Spirit are wanting to say is just step back from those people who you want to help, who haven't asked for your help, and just hold compassion and love for them, because they will in their own time find their own solution and their own way forward. And sometimes that's the best thing, the best form of help you can give somebody. So, and then there are some of you that are actually not wanting to see that you are maybe doing things that aren't really as great as you think they are. The book says bad, wrong, whatever, but I feel that more importantly, it's about understanding the good qualities and the bad qualities, in inverted brackets, and bringing them into your awareness so that you can balance both those sides of yourself, and then you'll be able to work from a place of more solid, connected sense of congruency and integrity, which I feel is what you're really aiming for. But unfortunately, it's coming out for some people around you that you're actually just not helping them at all, and that you are quite you're hurting them, even though that's not true, but that's how it's coming across. But this wouldn't come up if there wasn't some learning for you to take forward. So this is what you're transmuting, and I feel it's very much about you, Libra, learning to really understand your boundaries and not take everything on board and be the good person, because you're scared that if you don't take somebody else's crap on, then they're not going to see you as a nice person. And at the same time, not overstepping that mark and not going too far, past where you end and going into their stuff. So I feel very much around boundaries for you, and understanding where you end, where they start, where they end, where you start, and having respect for where each of you are and what your limits are, what you can take on and what you can't, and that's okay. It's okay, and if they don't like it, it's okay. That's it. You have to be true to yourself, and at the end of the day, I feel that that's what Spirit are trying to bring to your attention. So you have the crystal rhodonite coming up to support you through this process. And the keywords are patient, seeking, and forgiveness. So if you don't have this crystal, you can call on the crystal itself, the energy of this crystal, to help you when you need it. So you can look up what further additional meaning of rhodonite is. Drawing this card indicates it is time to stand back and be honest. What is your role in the conflict, and are you willing to truly forgive? Well, I mean, I love the synchronicity, it's just brilliant. So, time to stand back and be honest. What is your role that you are? What is your role in the conflict, and are you willing to truly forgive? So I feel this is to do with you forgiving yourself as well. So, we don't want to be seen as bad people, in inverted brackets, but it's also how you perceive yourself. Just because a behavior isn't seen as good, so to speak, doesn't mean you yourself are a bad person. It's just the behavior that needs to change, and I feel that's what Spirit are bringing your attention to in this reading, and this is the energy that you are currently transmuting. Rhodonite encourages the spirit to search for answers and reduces self-doubt while building confidence. Its energy promotes love and patience on our journeys, whether mundane, inward, or star-searching. Its healing qualities help to align the soul and raise the vibrational energies during meditation. It activates the heart chakra, and restores balance. Rhodonite can help to resolve conflicts and restore inner peace and balance. So I feel that this, obviously there's some external conflicts that are bringing this energy into your awareness, but I feel at a deeper level it's your internal conflict about the good and the bad and the ugly, and it's just having compassion for all these parts of you and bringing them into your awareness and healing whatever's needed. But basically it needs to be integrated so that you can fully understand who you are and how you can better behave or be with the people around you. Forgiveness is a key asset as it comes with understanding and compassion. On a personal level, it enables us to heal past traumas, especially those relating to emotional abuse and feelings of abandonment. So a lot of the time you can have blurred boundaries if you've had some kind of trauma or emotional abuse, and also abandonment. So if you've been abandoned or had some sense of abandonment, it can maybe push you into being overcompensating towards others who are going through similar experiences, and you don't want them to be hurting, so you go and try and fix them, and actually they're not ready for that, or they haven't asked for that, and then they come back and retaliate and go, no, that's not mine, it's yours. And then you go, but all I was trying to do was help you, and that's the deflection, and then you're pushing everything out of your awareness back to that person, or in some cases blaming them for why they're responding like that, when actually you're the bad guy, and you're the good guy and they're the bad guy. Like, they're the bad guy because all you were trying to do was help them, but actually it wasn't asked for, so you had no right in doing that. Obviously it's different if somebody has asked for your help and then they've acted the way they've acted. So you need to just really sit with that and discern what fits for you specifically and how you can work with that. And you have Archangel Uriel working with you, so do look up spiritual meaning of Archangel Uriel. It's very powerful. It brings in a lot of wisdom and inspiration, and what's the word I'm looking for? Helps to clear blocks. So it could help you to understand what it is you're really working through at a deeper level, because your energy is showing up as wise, wise, powerful, grounded, full of insight, information, wisdom. So, you've got all this information and knowledge and understanding and experience that you really do want to share with others. Unfortunately, you have to just bear in mind that unless somebody asks for your help, you can't just go around giving advice and doing your thing if it's not, if they're not ready for it. So that is going to cause them to retaliate. I do feel that once this energy clears, you will have a better understanding of when to help others, so your discernment will kick in, and also to help yourself. So you will be able to discern what you want to take on board and carry on behalf of somebody else, and what you really can't do and what you don't want to do, because it's not going to benefit you or them for that matter. So I do feel that that's happening. You are getting a lot of activation to your third eye and your crown chakra, so there's also a lot of spiritual wisdom information coming through from spirit, or your guides, or from past on loved ones, and obviously the angels are working with you. And once you balance your energy around whatever this is for you personally, you will see that something else is coming in towards you. So this card depicts that your ships are coming in, so there is something that's coming in towards you now that this energy is cleared out of your way. It's almost like if you go and help and fiddle with other people, try and sort them out and haven't asked for it, it actually blocks your own energy, and it stops you from moving forward, and stops you from actually receiving what the universe is trying to bring to you. And it's all these things that are meant for you, but your energy is kind of heavy with all this other stuff that's going on from, trying to help people that aren't ready. So once you balance yourself out, you're going to come into a much clearer perception of yourself as well. And that is also, balanced perception of the good, the bad, and the ugly within you, and having compassion for those parts that, you are human and you are learning, and, you are growing. So certain areas of your life you can't really change, but you just have to work through it with compassion and understanding for yourself and self-love and care. that will help you to integrate all these parts of you, so you can be more balanced in your own energy, which will attract some new opportunity or fruition of something that you've been working on to finally come in, because I feel that you've been waiting on this for some time. And then we've got the Hierophant. So this just confirms to me this is what you stepping back into once you sort out this energy, into your powerful, amazing self, into your powerful, amazing self that's balanced and spiritually connected. There's a lot of spiritual wisdom, so there is a lot of information, wisdom and experience you do have to share with the world, and I feel that Spirit are supporting you to do that, but you need to kind of learn how to balance this energy so that you can then know where and when to share this information with the people that you're trying to support. And I feel for some of you, maybe counselors, healers, teachers. So I do feel, and I feel for some reason I keep getting reference to your June reading about your truth is needed and your truth needs expression. So there is a lot of stuff that you are needing to express. You've just got to find the right avenue for that, and ask Archangel Uriel to help you, because he will absolutely clear the path for you. And again, we've got the Messenger of Water. So I do feel that you are learning how to balance your energy, learning how to trust your discernment and your intuition. Once you connect in with your intuitive self from a more authentic, congruent space, not that you're not, don't get me wrong, but you will know exactly intuitively whether you should step in or step away, and you won't have this sense of guilt around you, because I do feel that for some of you, what's driving you is a sense of guilt, like I need to help that person, and if I can't help them, then it's going to make me feel like a bad person, and I don't want to feel like a bad person. So you may need to look at the deeper root of why you're feeling bad. Maybe that you're feeling helpless and hopeless to help that person, and that's there for a reason, because Spirit would give you the insight to help them, or they would ask for the help and you would have the right answers for them. But sometimes you're not allowed to interfere with that person's process. Sometimes you're just meant to be observing what they're going through, because that's part of the lesson, and all you can do is hold compassion for yourself, heal how you feel, and allow them to find their own way forward. They will find their solution. It may not happen in this lifetime, and you have to really be comfortable with seeing where they are, and not, a lot of the time you want to help somebody because you feel uncomfortable. It makes you feel uncomfortable, so you really need to consider looking at what makes you uncomfortable and how you can work with that, so that when somebody is in a difficult place and you're not allowed to help them, you won't feel all this discomfort within yourself. So this is coming through as you balancing your internal conflict. For some reason this is coming through as in this reading as internal conflict between your inner self and your outer self, how you feel and how you want other people to see you. But actually it's an internal battle within yourself about how you feel, because the heart chakra is highlighted in this card. So once you really understand what that is for you, it's really going to give birth to this amazing new opportunity, insight, and probably even a magical part within you that you haven't really been allowing to bubble up. For some reason in this card it's bubbling up for you in this reading. So there's some part of you that's really, really needing to be self-cared and nurtured within yourself first, and this so ties in with your reading. Once this is healed, you are just going to blossom into amazing energy, and then you will be able to say what you need to say and express what it is that you're needing to express, and the wisdom and insights that you've got from a more healed part of yourself. So people will be drawn to you for your authenticity and your congruency, because you've merged whatever's going on internally for you and healed that aspect, and then people will kind of go, Well, yes, now I can feel it. I'm not saying you're not congruent, don't get me wrong, but this aspect is causing this like wobble, and it's like not, it just isn't gelling for some reason, but it is going to gel when you get this aspect of yourself nurtured and cared for. So I seem to have bubbled on a lot in your reading. There's a lot of like mixed messages coming through, so do take what resonates for you. Please do leave a comment and let me know how these messages are playing out for you. Hopefully the next set of readings I do will have better sound. So fingers crossed, and I wish you all the best of luck. Take care.